I'm back with a project update video today. It's been almost more than a month since I shared what's been on my needles, and that's not too good because that means we're going to be here for a bit longer today because I have so much to share. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Honey and this is my knitting channel, Honey Wool Wonders, and if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm so glad to be back. Honestly, I've missed doing this. I was super busy at work lately, so I didn't really get the chance to sit down and share what I've been up to with my knitting. Okay, so what do we have today? I think we have 4 finished objects. I know that's a bit crazy, but 2 of them are a bit smaller than like full-on sweaters, so that's fine. We have technically 4 whips, but one of them I'm gonna frog it after this video. I'll get to that. And then I have some new yarns as well that I'm going to share at the end for my next projects, and I do have some gauge swatches to show you. So let's just jump right in. All right, I'm going to quickly start with my first. This is not a finished object for this video. It was in my previous video, but I haven't blocked it, and I wanted to show how it's changed after blocking because it was a full textured sweater, and I know it's going to make a huge difference. Okay, the sun is all over the place again, but this is the Divino Pullover by Claudia from EweKnit Toronto. She was a new to me designer. I did had the chance to test knit this for her. This was my first test knit. I'll put up some videos or photos of me wearing this. It's such a beautiful sweater, guys. This pattern's out now. I'm not gonna go into details of it because I've shared about it in my previous video. So if you wanna know more about the construction and like my thoughts about the pattern, you can check it out. But it just like a very quick summary. It's just a top down, beautiful raglan sweater with this beautiful cable stitches for the raglan. And this is a matching set, so it doesn't come with the skirt pattern. You got to purchase that separately, but I think the skirt pattern is also out now. I'm really thinking of like making the set, like having this skirt as well. But this is all knit up in mohair. So the original pattern's meant to be using like 2 strands of mohair together. I held 1 Suri alpaca and 1 strand of mohair. So it's still the same fluffiness. I loved knitting with this fabric. It was such a dream, such a satisfying feeling. Like honestly, it was so soft that I couldn't really put it down. But I don't know how a skirt would look knit up in fluff. I don't know how that's gonna hold up. So I'm not too sure about that, but the set looks so pretty. I really want to have it as a set. But yeah, Divino Pullover, lovely sweater. You can check out her Ravelry for the pattern. I'm pretty sure the skirt is out as well, so make sure to check it out. Okay, today's one of those days that the sun cannot decide to stay out or not. So I'm gonna be playing a lot with the lighting today. Okay, that was the quick one. Just wanted to show you how the final sweater turned out after I blocked it. All right, now let's move on to the first official finished object of this video, and that is what I'm wearing. This is the Frøya Sweater by Ingrid. I think she's a Norwegian designer, and this was the first time I was knitting any of her patterns. As you can see, it's an all over lovely cabled sweater. It's super oversized. I think I'm getting around 40 centimeters of positive ease, which was intended. And I love oversized sweaters, if you don't know already. I think I mentioned this every time in my videos. But I really fell in love with this pattern. The first moment I saw it on Instagram, I was like, I just have to own this sweater. And it's a drop shoulder sweater, top down, very standard construction. I think this is a European construction for drop shoulder where you cast on with the back neck, and then you keep making increases on the 2 sides. You create that shoulder slope, and then you pick up stitches for the 2 fronts. You join the fronts together, you knit up until the armholes, and then you join the back and front together, and then you keep knitting in the round. You pick up stitches for the sleeves. Just very standard, really nothing different in the construction. But there are so many beautiful details. So one is a very wide sleeve and 2x2 ribbing, both for the cuffs, the bottom, like the hem, and also the neckband. So the neckband's a double folded neckband. It's 2x2 ribbing. I think I really love 2x2 ribbing way more than 1x1. I think it's much more, I don't know, there's something about it. Maybe I'm just sick of 1x1 ribbon because I have been doing that for so long. But this is knit up on a 5mm needle, so it's a pretty big gauge. I think the gauge it's a 20 stitch gauge, but the gauge in the pattern, it didn't mention that it's in the cabled texture or stockinette. So that was a bit confusing. I just made a stockinette gauge swatch and I hit gauge. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But I think it would have been better if it was like more meet the gauge in the texture, because there's nowhere in the pattern that you've just got stockinette. So that was a bit weird. The original pattern was meant to be knit up with a worsted weight yarn held with lace. For this one, I used the lighter weight. So mine was a sport weight held with lace. So I ended up with a airier and more like looser tension or gauge, which honestly I do prefer that because it doesn't get too cold here, and I think I'm gonna get more wear out of this, like a bit of like a not super crazy warm sweater. And for the yarn, I did use, for the first time, tried this yarn. This is the Rauma Finull. It's 100% Norwegian wool. It's a sport weight yarn, so it is 175 meters per 50 gram. This is in the color 4138. It's this beautiful heathered pink color. Such a beautiful pink, very light pink. And I held it with the Knitting for Olive Mohair in the color linen. So this is how they look together. I tried to pair it with the linen. This is more, I don't know how to describe this color. And by the way, Knitting for Olive colors on the website is very much not what you will get in the yarn itself. I don't know how it's very off. Like this, if you look this up, color linen, I'll try to put up a picture, but this is like no way close to what that color is. So this one, I picked these both up from the store, so I had the chance to actually look at them, and I thought they might make a beautiful pair. I tried to pick this one out because I wanted to tone down the pink a little bit, but I think it still reads more pink, but that's fine. I'll show you the fabric. It's very beautiful. And this yarn is so good for cable knitting. The yarn, okay, let me talk about the yarn. This one, I heard a lot about it and I really wanted to give it a go because I'm a super fan of like woolly wools. I don't know, like rustic, something that's more woolly, less soft. I do love soft yarn as well, but I love the stitch definition that you get out of these sort of wools, like non-superwash wools. And this is super dry. I don't know if you can really see it through the camera, but it's a very dry yarn. It's not itchy. I don't find it itchy, to be honest. I think I'm even okay to wear this close to skin, but if you're sensitive to wool, I don't think you'll enjoy wearing this yarn next to skin. So that's one thing. And then the knitting experience, like I've knitted with other woolly yarns before as well, but I found this a bit too dry for my hands. I love the final look. I love how it blocked out, and I love how the cables are like popping out with this yarn. But the knitting experience, I felt it was too dry on my fingers. Like I was having multiple whips going on, and then I was switching between them, and I could really feel the difference between how this yarn was, like how I was feeling it in my hand. So I don't know if I'm a huge fan, but since there's like a crazy range of colors and I've loved the final look, I know I'm going to be knitting with this yarn again, but that's just something that I thought to share about my experience. So that's the yarn. So yeah, final sweater, so beautiful. I love how oversized and like very like roomy and comfortable this sweater is. I love the very wide sleeves. But yeah, so the pattern itself, as you can see, it's all over cabled. You've got the I think there's like, so there's all kind of cables. You've got 2x2 cables, and then you've got this 1x1, and then you've got these diamond ones, and then you've got the honeycomb texture in the middle, and then the same repeats on the sleeves, except that you don't get the honeycombs. And I was able to knit this without any cable needles, and that was all thanks to the yarn, because this guy just didn't move at all. Like, you drop the stitches, they just stay in place. So I didn't really need a cable needle, which was good because this is an all over cable sweater, and if I really needed to use a cable needle, it would slow me down. And then the cables were all repeated on the same round, so it was so easy to just keep track. My thoughts on the pattern, again, first time knitting something from her. I love her designs. They're mostly like very oversized and so much my type, so I know I'm going to be knitting more from her again. The pattern was very clear. There were a few mistakes in the chart, in one of the charts for my size. I've added all those details on my Ravelry notes, and my Ravelry page is linked in the description of the video if you want to check it out. But there was one thing that I didn't really love about the pattern. So once you join in the round, you do get a chart for, I don't know, like a few rounds, and then after that there's no charts to give you repeats. Okay, it's so easy to figure out. Like, honestly, once I joined in the round, I didn't even look at the pattern. I was all good to go, which was so good, because when you look at this sweater, you think, wow, that's such a complicated cabled sweater, but it's really not. Like, you get the hang of it super quickly. But for someone's a bit who might be a bit like new to chart reading, they might find this a bit confusing. So that's just one thing to note. But I didn't have any issues, so as I said, I'll be knitting more from her again, and I cannot love this sweater more than I do now. Like, I was craving a all over cable oversized sweater for so long, and this was exactly what I needed, and I ended up finishing it right in time. So we hit spring now, but we'll still have a few more weeks for me to wear this. Like, it's not going to get warm anytime soon, so I'll still have some time to wear this. Okay, let's get to the next finished object. That is my super huge Monday sweater. This is a pattern by Petiteknit. I've knit this before. This one I knit for my husband, and I love it. This is such a beautiful sweater, guys. I love my own Monday sweater. He loved it so much on me that he asked that if I could knit one for him, and I said yes. But this is a pattern knit for, like, it's not a men pattern, but I thought it's going to be a similar, like, what's the difference? I just knit a size, maybe 2 sizes bigger than what I knit for myself. So I started with the size extra large, but it ended up too big. So I had separated for the sleeves, and I almost had one sleeve finished, and he tried it on. It was super huge on him, and he was not happy. Like, I could really tell from his face. So I had to rip back. I ripped back the whole sleeve. I ripped back the body. And when I reached to the stitch count for size large, I just separated sleeves. But again, this is still too boxy for the size large even. I don't know why. My gauges, I think my gauge sort of like got a bit looser as I went throughout the body. It fits him okay, but I think he would have liked it a bit more tighter on him, but that's fine. What else? Oh, the sleeves also was a bit too short the first time when I knit it. And then I did a knit surgery on this sweater, it was very cool. Like, I really wanted to try out that technique. You know how you cut into your sweaters and then you do whatever fix it needs, like either you add length or you rip back. So this one needed more length. So what I did, and since the ribbing is too long, I really didn't want to redo the ribbing. So I did cut the ribbing from the sleeve. I added more length, and I just graphed them together. And I don't really see if it's, I honestly can't see it. It blocked out really nice. So now I know how to do that in case I need to do it for a more complicated sweater. It's fine. So this is a very, like, construction wise, standard raglan, really nothing too fancy about it, but it's a very nice fit. It has short rows in the back. It's a very like relaxing fit. It's got like very long ribbing. I think I've shortened the ribbing for the body, but the rest was 2 pattern. The yarn I used for this one was a new to me yarn. It was called, I don't think I've got it here. No. Heirloom Cozy Comfort. It was a DK weight yarn. There was mohair in it. It was wool. So it was a blend of mohair and wool. It's a very beautiful, I think those like lighter strands or the mohair strands, they're a bit too hairy, really. But he doesn't find it itchy at all. And since the neck sits a bit further down on his neck, so it doesn't like choke him, he's really happy with the yarn. He doesn't find it itchy. He's been wearing it a lot, which is good. I see if I can get him to try it on, and so I can pop up a photo of him wearing it. The yarn was so nice. It was more affordable, and since this really needed a lot of yarn, I chose that yarn. I bought 13 balls, but I only needed 10. And I ended up with 3 extra ones, which I used in one of my other finished objects, which I'll share. But yeah, that's it. Monday sweater. I'm happy I finished it again before we get warm weathers here so you can wear it. I don't know if I'll try this yarn again. The fact that it got a bit looser after I blocked it, but it's so soft. I don't know. I probably will use it again. We'll see. They had really lovely colors as well. Okay. Next finished object. I'm so excited about this one. I think I haven't blocked this yet. Yeah. That's strange, but it still looks really good. Okay, this is my very cute, tiny Ranunculus sweater. Okay, this is super cute. And okay, so I was at the yarn shop picking up some other yarn that I had. And then there is this shelf in the shop with all the Lobby and Aimée yarn, like all the basic Kumo, the silk mohair, the merino, the sock, and they're so beautiful, and they're whole hand-dyed yarn. And I have been eyeing this Kumo yarn for honestly around a year now. So it's been so long that I really wanted to try, but it's a bit expensive. So I was like, okay, if in case I want to try this yarn, it has to be knit up like only with one skein. I can't afford to knit up like a full sweater in this yarn. And then I was hearing a lot of comments about this sweater, the Ranunculus sweater, that it can be knit up with any yarn weight on any sort of needle, and it's very customizable. So I thought, okay, maybe that's the best pattern that I can use this yarn for. So I can just get one skein and just knit as far as I can go with it. So this is how far I could go with one skein. It's honestly not too bad. It is a bit slightly cropped. If I had more yarn, I might have added a bit more to the length. And this is how much I have left. It's funny. I think it's like 2 or 3 grams. Very tiny. I'll put up, I don't have the skein, but I'm going to put up a picture in the color. I think it was called Jinju, the color. It's such a beautiful color. I don't know if it really comes through, but it's a very not too variegated yarn. It's very subtle, and I've never knit with hand-dyed yarn before, so I wasn't too sure how it's going to turn out, but I think I'm happy. So I held this with one ball of the Suri alpaca that I had left from my test knit. It's this very beautiful, this is in a white color. I had 1.5 ball left of this, so I held it with this, and the hand-dyed yarn added a bit of like a interest to the very like plain white. I really like this. I think I'm going to be wearing this a lot, but the fact that this is all knit in fluff and it's a short sleeve, I don't know how practical that's going to be, but I don't care because it's such a cute sweater. I don't think really I need to say anything about this sweater. You've probably seen this like millions of times, but it never really drew my attention initially when I saw this design. But yeah, I did say why I did decide to choose it, but now I do get the hype. This is such a satisfying knit. I think I knit this in 2 or 3 sittings, really. I know it's too small, but still. The yoke goes really fast because you really want to get through it. It's a very beautiful, very easy lace pattern in the yoke. So I did have a few modifications, which are all listed again on my Ravelry. I don't all remember them all, but I do remember that I did cast on with just a long tail cast on. I didn't follow there's two options. I think you can do a cast on. I did the long tail cast on. I think I cast on 80 stitches and then I increased to 90. I knit this in the first size, by the way. And the rest is just like all following the same stitch count and everything for the pattern. My body is a bit too boxier than I thought it would be. So if I even had the less fabric in the body and I could use that to lengthen the body, that would be better, but that's fine. And I said, I haven't blocked this, but it still looks really nice. I used 5.5 millimeter needle to meet gauge. And then for the short sleeve version, she has you to bind off straight away after you split for the sleeves. But I did add a few more rounds before I added the I-cord. And I also chose I-cord bind off for the sleeves. I think it turned out so cute. And as you can see, my bind off is a different color. So since I was very worried that I'm going to run out of the hand-dyed yarn, I bound off holding 2 strands of the white one by itself for both the body. You can't really see it, but even if you do, I think it's a cute touch. And then twisted rib, both for the neck and the body. It's a very interesting construction. So it is a round yoke, but it also adds some raglan increases after it reaches a certain point in the yoke, which I do think it does elevate the fit so much. So you get, you know, like a nice, very beautiful fit. And I also only added short rows for the back. It does ask you to add short rows for the front. I did skip that. And I'm happy with the fit. It's very cute. But yeah, I still haven't taken any photos of this really, because I still have to block it. But guys, this is so soft. I wish you could really touch this. I think I'm a very huge fan of Suri alpaca now. I like it way more than mohair. It's a different level of softness, nowhere close to mohair. And look at that drape. Oh, it's so cute. But yeah, I think now I'm on the train of like ranunculus lovers now. And I do think I'm gonna be knitting more of this in maybe like a longer, like long sleeve version or summer version with like a summer yarn. I've seen so many beautiful versions, honestly. And I think the pattern is just very satisfying to knit and it's so quick. It's fun. Okay, I have one more finished object. This is a small one again. Okay, I did end up with leftovers from the Monday sweater. I did mention I had 3 balls left. And then I also had this very beautiful skein of yarn left from the Pride and Pearls cardigan that I knit for my sister earlier this year. And that was a beautiful yarn. It was the John Arbon Textiles knit by Numbers DK in this pink color where there were like some red speckles in it. It was such a beautiful color. And I had 1 skein and a half left. And I was like, I want to knit something out of it for myself, but it wasn't enough. So I thought, okay, what can I make with it? So I ended up with the navy blue color from the Monday sweater. And I thought, okay, maybe I can make something stripy and a slipover, because still I didn't have enough for a full sweater. And I came across the Hannah slipover by the Knit Purl girl. She's on YouTube as well. She's got so many beautiful designs. I don't know why I've never knit anything from her yet, but I will. This was the first one and I loved it. This is a very cute, very nice fitting slipover. I fell in love with the shoulder detail. It's a saddle shoulder. Her version also has like a cardigan, like you can have buttons in the front. She's got a stripe version. The instructions for the stripe version is not in the pattern, but it's honestly really easy to just implement yourself. So I did also add a bit of my own touch to the stripe version. So I do have a bit of a color work going on, which I think it is cute. I knit mine in the 2nd size because I was worried that I'm gonna run out of yarn. But I do think if I was 1 size bigger, I would prefer it. It still fits me fine. The pattern was amazing. Like the amount of details that she shares, it's a very hand-holding pattern. So amazing, beginner friendly, I would say. And it was a very quick knit too. I think I finished this in less than a week. And the fact that it was like using my leftover yarn was like really satisfying. But there's one thing that I'm not super happy. This blue yarn is very hairy. I don't know if you can see, but I think it's taking a bit away from the pink. It's pulling down into the pink stripes. I don't know if you can see. And that doesn't make me super happy. Because the whole point of this slipover was to use up that beautiful pink yarn that I had and make that shine. But I think the mohair in the blue one is bleeding in a sense. That's all right. I still think it's cute. It has a very beautiful 1x1 round neck. Also 1x1 ribbing for the armholes and also for the hem. What else do I want to say? Yeah, it was really easy to follow. I think I might make another one, but in a bigger size, and maybe as a cardigan, like have it button up. It's cute. So yeah, my very cute Hano slipover by Sophie. Okay, that was all for the finished object, and that was such a long list. But let's get to the whips, because I have the most exciting sweater to share. I think you know which one I'm about to share, because if you've seen my previous video, which was like a roundup of like all the colorwork sweaters that I'm craving to cast on, and you've followed me on Instagram, you might know which one I'm about to share. Okay, this is the Rosie Sweater by EweKnit. Oh my God, guys, how can I not die for this sweater? This is so cute. Let's just have a look. And this is blocked if it looks really neat and like nice, because I did a mid-project block because it was very badly cinching in, and I was super scared that it's not going to be a nice tension and I might need to rip everything back, but that's not the case. It really blocked out very beautifully. This might be the cutest and prettiest thing that I've knit so far. Like, I cannot put in words how much I love this piece, really. So this is a very recent release by EweKnit. First time, again, knitting from her. She's got very beautiful color work designs, but this one, since I saw it, this was not even released when I was planning to make it. So I had the yarn even before the pattern was out, which is crazy because I never do that. And then the original design, as you can see here, is knit up with one contrast color. So both the roses and the leaves are knit with one color, and I chose to add a third color. So I was like, what if I add green for the leaves and keep the roses in this very beautiful rusty color? And I think it turned out so well. I was not too sure how it's gonna be knit up because the pattern's meant to be for a one contrast color. But I was like, I'm gonna give it a go and see how it's gonna turn out, and it was fine. It's fine. It might not be the best tension because it's a 3-stranded color work all over the sweater. I think except just one row in the color work section, the rest is 3-stranded. So that was a bit tricky because I ended up with really long floats for some of these colors that I had to manage catching. It was a bit of a mess, but I did not care. Like, as soon as I saw the roses like pop up, I was in love. And I shared the mid project of this on my Instagram, and so many people reached out. It was crazy. Like, the fact that my little experiment with colors was like inspiring people, that was like the cutest thing. So yeah, I'm so glad that so many of you showed interest in this, and it made me even love it more than this, really. But guys, this is such a beautiful design. I think even the ones with the one contrast, they're all so pretty. Like, I've been looking up the Rosie Sweater on Instagram to just see the different versions, and I'm in love with all of them, and I love mine so much. So as you can see, there's not much left. I only have the sleeves to go, and I think I'm gonna do both sleeves at the same time, like pick up stitches at the same time. I think it's going to be a bit tricky to pick up stitches because you got to pick up in color, I think. And I ended up with a bit of a shorter neckline. It's this beautiful like mock neck. The original version is super long. Mine is a bit shorter. I think it's 7 centimeters. Again, notes on the modifications is going to be on my Ravelry notes. Construction, pretty interesting. So you cast on at the back, and then you have short rows to create this shoulder slope. And then you put the stitches on hold. You pick up stitches for the front. You join in the round. You knit up until here. And then you join the front and back, and you start picking up stitches along the shoulder for the sleeve cap, and then you keep adding raglan increases. So these are the raglan increases. So it's a bit of everything, basically. You've got drop shoulder, you've got set in sleeve, like contiguous construction, and then you also have raglan. So the fit is really nice. I've tried it on, it's really nice. And then you got the rest in the body. So that means for the color work section, you only have to knit in the round. You don't need to do any flat color work knitting, which was good. That's so cute. I'm knitting mine in the second size, but I still don't get the positive ease that I was hoping to. This is only giving me around 16 centimeters of positive ease, which is still fine, but I usually like, you know, like very oversized. So I was hoping at least I could get 20. And the photos that she's like modeling the sweater, I think that's like 30 or 40 centimeters positive ease. That was a bit not fun. Like I was hoping to get that same fit. So the second size, I thought, okay, that's even one size bigger than mine. With the chest circumference that she suggests, I should have knitted the first size, but I was like, okay, I'm a bit tighter when it comes to color work, so I'll just knit the second size. But I'm still not getting what I was hoping to. And I'm knitting the color work section in half a needle size bigger. So the body's knit on a 4mm needle, and I'm knitting the color work in 4.5 because I've learned my lessons from my Northern Augustan sweater, which was my first color work. And I did have some tension issues there, but here I just went up a needle size, and I think I'm meeting gauge pretty perfectly spot on. Do you want to see the floats? They're a bit crazy. And I don't even know if this is how they're supposed to look or if they look really bad. But that's the floats. It's not too bad. But I don't even know how they're supposed to look. So let me know if they're really neat or not. What else do I... Okay, yarn. Let me talk about the yarn that I use. So this pattern, the original samples knit up with tin Peer Gynt. Held with tin silk mohair. So a fingering and a lace gives you a DK, and it's knit up on a 4mm needle. So I did use some very lovely colors from Knitting for Olive. And okay, so this is my main base color. So it's Knitting for Olive Merino, the color Wheat. Very neutral. This has a bit of like a yellow tone to it. And I'm holding with the Bichesetbuches Mohair in the color Beige. And they match very nicely. I'll show you from close how they look. It's a very close match. And this is the first time I'm trying the Bichesetbuches Mohair. It's super soft. I think it's a bit more hairy than the Knitting for Olive. So if I hold them together, you'll see the difference. This is way more fuzzy, but it's super soft, really, really soft. It's very close to the Isire Mohair, I think. And it's 220 meters per 25 gram and 30% silk, 70% kid mohair. And the roses are in Knitting for Olive. I don't have a full bowl, but Knitting for Olive Copper Merino. I'm holding with Knitting for Olive Mohair in the color Dusty Robin. Pretty nice pair. And for the leaves, I'm holding this yarn double. This is the Isire Highland wool. It's a fingering weight yarn. It's 100% wool, 275 meters per 50 gram. So it's light fingering. So I'm holding this double. It's a very loosely plied yarn. But the color is so lovely, and it was like the exact match for the leaves. It's in the color curry. So I'll show you again how the leaves and the roses are looking. I think the leaves, like holding the Highline wool double, has a bit of a thicker gauge. You can really see it, but that's fine. I think it just adds a bit of dimension to the leaves, which is cool. But the color palette turned out exactly what I had in mind. So I was like playing with the yarn ideas before I went to buy the yarn. So I did have a mock-up photo of like what I want, and then I took the photo and then I went to the yarn shop and I ended up with this selection, and it exactly matched what I had in mind. Guys, this is so beautiful. Like, I can gush about this sweater for 2 days. It's so dreamy. I can't wait to finish it. And this was the first time ever that I experienced this feeling in knitting. I didn't want this to finish. I'm usually very craving the final object. I love that satisfaction that you get out of finishing something. But this one, I took my time. But it still really went pretty fast as well. But I was like enjoying every second of this. And the yarn combo is very lovely. I love knitting for olive merino held with mohair. It's one of my favorite gauges, especially on a 4mm needle. So yeah, I have the sleeves to finish and I'll be done. And I only needed one ball of the knitting for olive copper for the roses. I still have half of the ball left, so it's going to be more than enough for the sleeves. This is 10 gram left from the mohair from a 25 gram ball. I did buy another ball of the mohair just in case. I don't want to run out. But the Highline wool as well, I bought 2 balls, and this is what's left from the first one. So I caked this up. I split it into half and then I caked it up holding it together, so I won't need to play with multiple balls of yarn. But yeah, very lovely yarn selection. Okay, let's get to my next whip. And that's the one that I mentioned that I'm going to frog it after this episode. I'm a bit sad, but that's okay because I've already used the yarn for my other whip. This is almost done. I can't believe I'm frogging it. Okay, this is my almost finished Ivy blouse by Petiteknit in this very beautiful green color. Okay, I hope I'm not going to change my mind after seeing it now. Yeah, that's fine. There is a reason though that I'm frogging this. So this was like, I saw this yarn in the yarn shop and I wasn't intending to really buy this yarn or knit this pattern. And I usually have pattern first in mind and then I go buy yarn for it. So it was a bit of an unusual move for me. But I saw this green on the shelves and I was like, I have to take this home with me. I can't resist not having this green. This is the Chaska Pure DK. It's a combo of wool and mohair again. It's this very beautiful, like fluffy, soft yarn. But this is count as a DK weight yarn. But this is not a DK weight yarn. This is like very close to fingering. Even light fingering, I would say. So it tricked me in that sense. So this Ivy blouse by Petiteknit is meant to be knit up on like holding 2 strands of mohair together. So, you know, mohair is like really fluffy, even if you hold 2 strands. And I've learned that from the Ranunculus. Like this is 2 lace weight yarns, but look at how fat those stitches are. And that's coming from the fluff. So when she said 2 strands of mohair, I was like, okay, I can meet gauge with a DK weight yarn, 3.5mm needle, and I did meet gauge. But it wasn't a gauge issue. This was more tension issue. I don't know if you can see, but look how uneven. I know I haven't blocked this, but I don't think blocking would make a huge difference. I've got so many weird rowing out, and I don't like it. I did not like knitting this by itself. And constantly I was thinking maybe I should hold 1 strand of mohair with it, but I didn't want to. But I kept going. I should have stopped earlier, but that's fine. At least now I know it didn't work out. So I finished the body, I picked up sleeves, And then I had to force myself every time that I wanted to knit on this, because even though it seems to be a mindless knit, but I had to pay very close attention to my stitch tension to get it right, because it was so loosey, ugly. I didn't like it really. So I'm gonna frog this. And I thought, okay, I either have to hold this yarn together for me to like the tension, or I hold it with something else. And then this idea came to mind, but look at that shoulder detail. I love it. I don't know, it's fine. It was just a yarn. It wasn't the right choice to pick up for this blouse. I think if I had really two fluffs held together, it would have been really nice and I would like it more. Okay, now let's get to the fun part after this sad story of my Ivy blouse being ripped out. I've already used the yarn in my other project. If you've followed me along, you've seen my first Olga sweater version. It was in this red and white. Not white, it was like a light blue color. I love it. I wear that sweater like crazy, like at least 3-4 times a week, because it's such an easy to throw on around the house sweater, and 90% of my time I'm around the house, so it's a very practical sweater and I love the fit. And yeah, so I wear that a lot, and I knew from the moment I finished that one that I want another Olga sweater one day, but with a touch of green. And that's where I was like, I can use this as an Olga sweater, because I don't have enough. I only have 4 bowls of this, and it's a 200 meter per 50 gram bowl. And if I wanted to hold that double, that would leave me with 400 meters. So I was like, okay, it can work out as a stripe, but I didn't know what to pair it with. And I went to the yarn shop and I was like, I'll just look around and see what just speaks to me. And I came across this yarn. This is the Kremke Soul Wool Baby Alpaca. It's a 100 meter per 50 gram and it's a DK weight yarn. And look at that color, guys. Oh, there are some greens in there as well. I hope it's coming through. It's so soft. Like the moment I touched this, I was like, what? Let me show you how it's pairing up with. It's a very unexpected pair, I agree, but this is going to be my second Olga sweater. Let me show you a close-up of that yarn combo. I might hate it, so there is a chance that I might hate this color. But I think it's nice. I don't know, something about this color combo just spoke to me, and I was like, I know it's very unexpected, but I think it's really cool. It's a very fun color, so it's going to be a very fun Olga sweater. And I'm almost done with the body because my first version is pretty cropped and I want to copy the exact fit of that one because I love it. I don't want to change anything about the fit, so I still have slightly more to go on the body, and then I'm going to do the sleeves. I've already done the neckband. The neckband's pretty cute, like a double folded 1x1 ribbing, not too long of a ribbing, and then you've got that purl bumps. It's a double knitting, few rows of double knitting to make the fold sit nicer. But yeah, this is again a very known pattern. There's so many beautiful versions of this out there. I'm knitting mine in the second size again on a 4mm needle. I love knitting this sweater. I think I love knitting stripes more than color work, I think. It's so satisfying. I love the shoulder seam. It's very beautiful detail that just goes into the front. So yeah. I'm happy. I'm so happy with this. I love this sweater so much that I would be more than happy to own another version. But let me know what you think about this yarn combo. Is it too not going together or is it fine? And I don't even know if it goes with my skin tone. We shall see. But yeah, this is going really nicely, but I ended up here because I need more green yarn, so I left it there. I need to rip back my very sad Ivy blouse now to use up the yarn. Let's go to my last whip. This is again such a bright color. So I did have this yarn combo in my stash for a while, and it was inspired by the color again. So I was seeing all these beautiful like cobalt blue sweaters on my Pinterest, and I was like, I want one. I want to knit one. And this is the Tin Peer Gynt yarn in the color, I think it's called This is 6046, but I think the color is like jolly blue. And the mohair is in the Sunless Garden again. Color 6046. So they're both 6046. Very bright blue. And I didn't know what to knit with it. And once I was knitting the Monday sweater for my husband, I was like, I want to have another raglan sweater. And I have the Monday one already. I wear it again a lot around the house. And I didn't want to knit that one again for myself. So I was like going through my favorites on Ravelry and came across this Lane Loop sweater by Other Loops. It's a very similar construction. So it's a... Oh, I love that color. It's a raglan construction, but there's a tiny bit of more interest to it. So as you can see, the raglan stitches are in this beautiful 2x1 stitches. The neckband is 2x1 instead of 1x1. And then this raglan, the ribbing, 2x1 ribbing goes all over the sleeve. So you have it all over the shoulder and your sleeve. And then it also runs into the body. It's really hard to show, but it's meant to go down the sides of the body. And then there's some very interesting thing about it, which I didn't realize in the photos until I was knitting it. And that's for the ribbing for the sides. When you join in the round, it gets you to do decreases in the front and increases in the back. So the number of stitches stay the same, but what it does is gets this ribbing to flow to the front of the body. I'll try to put up a picture so you know what I mean. But that's such a cool feature. I love that. And as I said, it just makes a very basic raglan sweater to become more fun, both knit-wise, so you won't be just knitting stockinette, and also fit-wise. I think it's so beautiful. And it did have some short rows for the back, so you can see the neck is sitting really nicely. And I think there's going to be short rows for the sleeves as well. But yeah, I love it. This is a lovely yarn, by the way. It's one of my favorite yarns. So for example, I was knitting this and I was also knitting the Frøya Sweater. And once I was like switching between two whips, I could really feel how much drier than this yarn is than this. Like for example, this is also 100% wool and bit of like on the scratchier or woolier side, but I think I like this one more, at least knitting experience wise. Not the final look of this is still very beautiful, but I think I love how this feels in my hands while I'm knitting with it. And I love the stitch definition that it gives. This is knit up on a 4mm needle. Everything is to pattern. I'm knitting the first size. That was it, guys. That was a huge list. If you're still here, that means a lot. So thank you so much. Okay, before I go, I have something very quick to share, as in yarn that I've bought for my next pattern. Again, if you've watched my color work knitting pattern roundup, I had this sweater in there, Mohair by Albina. Such a beautiful sweater. I love this design. It's such a beautiful color work sweater. And I was planning to make it from the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the color Dark Mousse, and the flowers to be in this color, I think it's Dove Blue. And I made a gauge swatch. This is how it's looking. I think it's a nice combo. It's so cute. So this is meant to be knit up on a 5mm needle, and the weight is a worsted weight. Yeah, I think it's a worsted weight. This is slightly thinner than what she's asking for. So it's just 100% merino wool, 125 meters per 50 gram. So I had to get the mohair for it to pair it as well. And I also honestly did want to add a bit of softness to this. This is very dry compared to their fingering weight merino. It's a very different feeling. It's a very lovely yarn. I love it. But I thought if I'll pair it with the mohair, it'll give it a bit of a fluff and softness. And I'll also make gauge. So I did make a gauge swatch. I'm slightly off gauge. So if I'll add one strand of mohair, I think I'll be fine. So I'm knitting the color work in 5.5 millimeter and then the stockinette section in 5 millimeter. And I've got the same blue for the flowers. So I think it's going to be a lovely, lovely combo. So once I finish the Rosie sweater, this is going to be my next color work. Let me know how you think, what you think about the color. I think it's pretty. Okay guys, I'm losing all the sun and now it's full cloud. So I hope the lighting hasn't changed too much throughout the video. This was a longer video, so I do appreciate if you reached this point of the video and you decided to hang out with me for a bit longer today. And as always, thank you so much for all your support. And if you want to check out my Instagram page, it's under the same handle, Honey Wool Wonders. I do share sometimes more often there. I'm also on Ravelry. Links to this and links to everything that I talked about today are going to be in the description of this video. And let's leave it here. Thanks again for all your support. Subscribe if you haven't already to my channel so you won't miss on my future videos. I hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you are. Happy knitting, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.